My daddy and I have a really close relationship. I used to really hate his special guts, but now we are good friends now that he's old and he knows he's going to die and he wants to make up for his bad shit that he used to do to me when I was a kid.
Always wants to be held.
Well, the story, any story for me involves me and my mother and my sister, because that's my family. And I think it's very hard growing up raised by women.
And this one girl, she was a newlywed, and actually on her honeymoon, poor thing. She's young, like maybe 19. She says wistfully, "I wish my parents were here with me." And I said to her, "Fine, you want mine? Take mine."
And he said, "If you don't stop crying, I'm really going to give you something to cry about."
Maybe somebody wants to pick him up.
You know, and then and our mother, you know, for once our mother would be supportive of something that my father would do. And it's like, she'd just look at us and say, "You see, you've upset your father." Like, duh. Yeah, we've upset him, I guess. Of course, we upset him, first of all, by, like, you know, being born, living in the same house with him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Hi.
Hello, Barbara.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you today?
I'm okay.
No, I lived in a room with three brothers.
You shared the same room?
Yeah, we shared the same room. My parents got divorced. We shared.
That's too much testosterone
Yeah.
in one space.
It was like okay, my older brother David used to sit up in his loft and he'd watch. He had a portable TV because he could afford one, and he used to watch Perry Mason at night, every night. And during Perry Mason, he would masturbate wildly in the upper bunk.
Let's see. Well, my sister, she's going to get a divorce.
My real mother had died when I was 2.5, so my best friend's mother married my father to take care of me, and of course, because they weren't a love couple, they weren't, I don't think they ever had sex as far as I know.
And he beat the shit out of me.
Now he's crying.
Uh-oh. He's smiling, isn't he?
No, he's not. He's almost to dinner. He's young.
I remember first grade when we used to have to dive under our desks for air raids every Friday. The atomic bomb.
Well, my aunt is a woman who's always felt the compulsion to surrender her life to whatever man she's been involved with. And she had a bad experience when young. She was involved with her first husband and got pregnant at 18. They were married.
A lot of stuff like that, but the worst, I think the worst one for me was when he and my mother weren't getting along because he said she was too stupid to be with a cool guy like him, so he said...
That bothers me.
You're having a lot of feelings about it, Ned.
Yeah.
And stirring up some old feelings.
I guess so.
All I can think of is when I was in elementary school and I was kind of depressed because my parents had gotten divorced. So I would just hang out at home, and I used to tell people my best friend was Mike Douglas, the stupid talk show host, because I would just sit and eat bologna sandwiches and watch the Mike Douglas show. It was pretty pathetic.
But I remember one time, and I wasn't even complaining, there was something, in fact, it was like one of my favorite foods. I love mashed potatoes. I still love potatoes. I'm mad about potatoes. And I said, like, something smells odd about this. It just smelled. He just like looked at me, like, what? I mean, if he had said it, he might have said it himself. And if he had said it himself, it would have been okay. But unfortunately, I made the very bad mistake of saying it first. And I said, well, it just like sort of smells kind of funny. And he said, well, what do you mean? Can you really smell it? And I said, yeah, I think so. He said, like, are you sure? This was not like my father at all, but in a way, of course it was. And I said, well, I don't know, maybe. And he reached over and he shoved my face into the mashed potatoes.
And she seems happy about it. I'm just kind of waiting for her to, you know, break up. Or, I don't mean break up, break down.
Oh, you think the same thing's going to happen to her as happened to your mother, perhaps?
Mannix, and they had like hot water. And what did I have? I had a fucking pump in the backyard, a fucking outhouse.
As he was doing this, he had the string of a newspaper, pulling it like this. And I don't know. It upset me. I thought that I felt threatened. I thought that I was doing something wrong.
Oh. You aren't suffering. Believe me.
He spanked me to try to shut me up, but it didn't work.
I mean, you know, when I go to a party, you know, I party, basically. You know?
You're there to enjoy yourself?
Yeah, I don't know.
And that includes having a few drinks?
Yeah, sure.
Well, so tell me how you felt about it the next day.
You know, like I ran for vice president of my class, and a week before I was had to give my speech, my brother and I got in a huge fight, and I got 2 black eyes.
I mean, he's not drunk all the time, but I mean, when he calls, he's drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other reason for him to call, really.
Gets in one of those drunk, sentimental moods.
And I says, hey, you know, like I was like 12. I'm going, I think we can go a little faster. He's going, you want to get out? I'm going, I think I could jog faster, Grandpa. You know, he had a Mustang, you know, not a Mustang. What do you call it? Mercury Monterey. That's what it was. No, Comet. It was like, he can't. It was like, fuck you, Grandpa. You know, let's get some speed going here. You know, but he had heart pills, and you know, he washed dishes.
Maybe somebody's going to pick him up.
I guess it reminds me too much of home and my mom.
Well, I'm sorry, Barbara, but your 50 minutes is up now. And I think we're going to have to stop for today.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll see you next week then.